cogs.
Yeah, I really like the idea of the Mars pickup here if they can swing it and if they're feeling confident in the lane. The Snapfire comes out. This hero seems to be it kind of middling popularity, I would say. There was when it initially came out, everybody was playing Snapfire all the time. Got a couple of nerfs and really did seem to fall off the radar a little bit. I guess in this position, a lot of it being it's good save against the Clockwork. It's good against the Will-O-Wisp as well. So and
You've
pretty
got
pretty
little
tanky.
bit of a mobilization, right, with the Ember Spirit and the Nature's Prophet. So Mortimer's Kiss is even pretty effective.
Yeah, very true. And a relatively tanky support as well, so you're not just going to get gone on by the Clock or the Queen of Pain and just die instantly. Should be able to get some spells off and, maybe turn the fight around a little bit. Your team can come and help you.
Yeah, it's one of those supports where, I mean, I think Force Stuff is going to be a must build this this game, but you don't necessarily have to in most other games, right? You with the Glimmer Cape and the Force Staff nerfs, it's not like those are the items to build as the position 5. So, Snapfires can get away with going things like braces and stuff like that. Oh, what's up?
We were just paused, so it looks like...
with 1 second left, I actually just saw that.
But wait, is... Oh, okay, right. So So Ares disconnected, and then Captaincy got passed over to Abad, and now Ares is back. So SSI's probably not very happy about the fact that they're basically getting extra reserve time, but what are you gonna do?
Well, while we wait, I might have a quick partake in some Mango Loco Monster.
Is it not too early to be, or do you need to start caffeinating now? Is that the plan?
Oh, that is pretty mango-y though.
Is it good?
Yeah, pretty damn good.
Okay. Is it carbonated?
A little bit. You heard the
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The one that we can't get in Australia for some reason is the what are they even called? It's like the iced tea monster. So it's not carbonated, and that's my favorite.
I mean, this is very mildly carbonated. It tastes a little bit like cordial.
Okay.
So it's pretty nice.
Oh, it's Monster Rehab. That's what it's called. I have no idea why they don't have it in Australia, but there you go. So Centaur is the pick. So it does start to narrow down the, where this Queen of Pain is going to be headed. Looks like Centaur more than likely going to the off lane. Centaur plus Clockwork, maybe a little bit of a weird dual lane, and now Fnatic just going to go for the Lone Druid, which I think it looks pretty great in this spot, actually. God, they've got so much push. This could be an insanely fast game, Danog. Like, if Fnatic win the lanes, I think they can just all group up together, go from building to building. Cignal have a little bit of deep push with the Coddle, but like Centaur takes time to come online. Clockwork in a losing game just does nothing. So yeah, we got the Mars being banned by Cignal.
Oh, so they ban it themselves. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if
it's just DJ's hero that's left though, right? So it's
potentially.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so you're just thinking Ember mid, Prophet offlane, Snap 5, LD 1.
Yeah. Pretty standard across the board. I mean, the LD and the Ember can potentially switch, but
yeah. And Fnatic, their last pick is, I think, really open-ended. They've kind of got everything that they need. They've got some catch, they've got some push, they've got some objective taking, got a little bit of team fight. Maybe they could grab a little bit more team fight if they really wanted it. But I could see almost anything here. They could even pick, like, if they wanted to, this would be, I think, a pretty good game for like a puck mid, and then just push the Ember over into position 4. I think you could even get away with that. And then you would have the counter matchup against the Quap. But they're just going to go for a Treant Protector. Okay, well, they're going to take all your buildings, and they're not going to give away any of their own.
Yeah, it was the one thing that I was thinking they might have been lacking a little bit was some sustain. With Snapfire, of course, once you get enough levels, sure, your cookie gives a little bit of heal, but there wasn't really any natural like Mech or Greaves or anything like that builders on the team. And not that Treant's going to, I think he's very much just going to rush a Meteor Hammer anyway, but at least you've got the Living Armor, at least you've got the level 1 Leech Seed.
Yeah, for sure. And Cignal just gonna go for the life stealer. Okay.
It's okay. You need
Yeah.
to be mindful of when you use your rage, right? You don't want to get just overgrowth straight afterwards, or you don't want sprout easies to start happening.
I don't know how good the lane necessarily is here. What they got caught a life stealer. I guess he's not gonna get pressured too much. It's actually an ice 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 dream protector. And it is
Okay.
going to be the DJ Ember.
And Moon
Yeah, Moon
mid
Nature's
profit.
Nature's
Oh,
Profit.
okay. Well, they're
Interesting.
changing things up a little bit, which I mean, I think they've got enough games in hand so that they can try something a little bit different here. That's interesting to see. And it is just going to be a mid quap as well, going up against this. I mean, I think it's all right. You know, you need to be very careful with how you're placing your treants. You don't want to get them screamed away.
I do think that this kind of shuts down the one angle that I sort of saw for Cignal, where I didn't think the side lanes were going to go particularly well, but the Queen of Pain should have a really good game from mid against the Ember. But playing mid against the Nature's Prophet is kind of in a little bit of a different situation, especially if he's getting any living armor help. So this now makes it a little bit tough, I think, for Cignal in that perspective.
Yeah, I think it was always going to be rough for them just going up against Fnatic, right? And I'm a
Yeah.
little bit disappointed. Where is the Quap Arcana? That's what I wanted to see, but...
Someone needs to donate some levels. Fnatic have, what, we got 2,000 on DJ already, 1,700 on 23 Savage. These guys are set.
They're hogging the levels. And now if Ice Ice Ice, he gets the pause and questions himself. Oh no, it's because Jabs is DC.
Yeah.
我是一个没有感情的刷钱机器。
Oh, the chat
That is a
wheels.
lot of chat.
That is a lot of chat wheeling, yeah.
Oh man. Alright. Any interesting item choices coming out already here? Clockwork might be trying to do some pulling here. Get the double wave stacked up. Don't have the greatest ways to deal with it with this Snapfire.
Yeah, there's nothing too crazy going on. Grim's being very safe, picking up the salve for the lane. Just make sure that they have at least one. Knows that there's going to be some pressure coming out. Yeah, beyond that, nothing too crazy. We've already got a Vanguard queued up for the Centaur. 23 Savage. Is he going to buy a TP scroll right away for his bear? It's always... I don't know if he has the money, actually.
Nope.
Nope. Oh well. Can always, you can always ferry one out. You just got to remember to not accidentally get it delivered to your hero. It's so painful because there's no way to get it off the hero onto the bear. So.
Which is a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
I mean, it is useful for with these items that we're seeing on Fnatic. We're seeing some usefulness for pushing the towers, but also harassing in lane, with the Blightstone being picked up both by the position 1 and 2. 23 Savage and Moon both opting to go for it. So trying to get a bit of bullying happening, get those tangos off the Queen of Pain. Is she bald for you as well in game?
No.
Huh. Just the portrait looks like it's bald for me.
Oh, okay. No, she's got the hood thing.
Yeah, in the actual game itself, she has the hood, but in the portrait, she's bald.
No, her portrait's normal for me. I don't know what's up. So the other thing to mention, I think, here, especially with these heroes like Nature's Prophet and the Lone Druid, is that they have these mechanics that they can kind of abuse the lane a little bit more by just starting with very little to no regen. And then being able to either, in the case of the Nature's Prophet, just TP back to Fountain, TP back out, or the case of the Lone Druid, just being able to TP out your bear and then bring it back. You can kind of really push the limits in terms of your starting items and really get all of these little items at the very start. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things that is similar with like a Kunkka, right? That makes it really effective. Even if you go something that's going to be constantly harassing you out, like a Quap, for example, with a Shadow Strike, it doesn't really matter because you can just TP straight back.
Have to see where the early wards end up getting planted down. So DJ also just starting with boots first. Ice Ice with double ring of protection for this lane. So he is actually going to be pretty hard to deal with. And Cignal, are they maybe even thinking about going... Looks like they might be thinking about going aggro here. And just leaving the Centaur to solo the safe lane. Could be a decent option. I think this is the one place where the... you could exploit the position for Ember a little bit. It's not like he wants to sit in a tri-lane versus tri-lane, but also if it just ends up being a 2v1 down here, I don't know how much he can really accomplish. Maybe he can just start spamming this side pull. Because I don't think the Lone Druid really wants his supports to come up here and steal his experience either. That's kind of the whole point of Lone Druid, right? That you don't really require a whole lot of support help. So, see how this works out.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, we'll see what Jabs does if they're just trying to go for early kills down here. It very much is possible with the DJ Ember Spirit if he opts to go for a point in the Searing Chains early up. But
the battle begins.
Yeah. And as well with Jabs, we're seeing the Boots of Speed as well on him. So maybe predicting that we might be seeing a bit of lane cutting here from the Clockwork. So he could at least chase it up a little bit, but Clock's always going to be that little bit faster, 15 extra movement speed to start the game.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to stay away from the battery assault and whatnot as much as possible. So Cignal really blocking super hard and going to be multi-cogging this wave back as well, just to try and get it in a really good position to start things out. So the Bear scats things out a little bit, and now Fnatic, they've got some decisions to make as to whether or not they want to keep this this laning situation as it currently is.
Korea was potentially in a little bit of trouble. This deep ward here by Eris has scattered it out a little bit, but it's going to back up and go on the other side of the shrine and be perfectly safe.
So my one slight concern about doing this is that you're going to have very low-level supports if you're running this tri-lane, and that's going to mean that the Nature's Prophet is going to be very scary kind of come the mid-game, because you're going to have a Nature's Prophet who's ready to gank and with the Wrath of Nature, and you could have supports that are running around at like level 3, and they're just going to be totally free food. Jabs gets cogged in here, but just going to hop out with the cookie, and he's on the run. Letting 23 Savage take all of the experience in the lane, even though he is getting denied pretty heavily so far, about with 4 denies to his name.
And 8 last hits, so he's doing quite well. I'm interested to see how Moon goes about doing this, because against a Queen of Pain, not the greatest ability to shove waves all too much. I mean, I guess you can commit your treants heavily onto it, and that gives you the little bit of extra time that you need to start making these rotations happen, especially once you hit that level 6 mark. But yeah, let's see if Jamesy's mindful of that and keeps the lane pushed heavily onto the dire side of the map if he can.
So Clockwork just keeps coming over here and body blocking the small camp. Not going to give Jabs any tools to really reset the lane here. And they have stacked up this big camp as well. So the Lifestealer can shove the lane forward, and then they can get some side pulls going. It would be good if Jabs could somehow interrupt that, but I don't really know how much he's going to be able to do. He's just lurking on the backside of the lane here, keeping his eyes on things. Hops over the top of the Clockwork and makes it back to his team. Now, DJ level 2 making the rotation in here does have the chains. They do not have the follow-up stun. 23 Savage just going to send the bear forward. It has been slowed down already. So, doesn't seem like there's going to be any really big play here. But we do have the full tri-lane versus tri-lane kind of getting locked in. I think DJ was hoping to make something happen with the level 2 rotation, but doesn't get an immediate kill. Though they are going to get this, they get this stacked pull going. So if they can defend this, that's going to be a lot of experience denied away from Cignal.
Yeah, very handy.
Okay.
DJ loves fighting in those enclosed areas as well, and yeah, I mean, whether it's the hard camp double stacked, that's very easy to just quickly clear out the waves. It's not a small stack where you can start to make that rotation through.
Had the slight chains, but DJ would have had to pop the mango to get both spells out there. And Jabs straight back at it, gets another wave pulled through. Cignal does look like they're going to be better positioned to contest this time around, but the lane's already been pulled back towards the tower, so 23 Savage can be pretty happy playing under there. Mid lane, 20-2 up against the 18 for 9. And these mid lane heroes really going to be the big question when it comes to this top lane, and how much longer they're going to be able to sit here as a tri-lane versus tri-lane. And both position 4s are already thinking about the 4-minute rune, looking to contest it right now. Living Armor to help out the Ember a little bit, but looks like he's still going to be the one to secure it. Jamesy really wanted that, but it was just about to get denied by the Treant, so...
Radiant's middle tower.
A little bit of a grief, but at the same time, some good play coming out from Moon, as well as DJ, putting that constant pressure up. Now, on bottom side, Ice is doing a really good job down here, getting some denies off. He's leading in the experience mark. He's had a couple of double waves somehow pulled underneath his tower, so he's going to make the rest of his team a lot more sustainable as well, not opting for any points in the Leech Seed because realizing he doesn't really have that kill potential in lane.
Yeah, and the ability is a little bit garbage, let's face it.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of rings. He's got 2 rings of protection and a ring of regen currently. I don't even know if Turn Protector has enough fingers, but you know, we won't question too much.
I'm in the position to make like a joke about how trees have rings based on their age, but I'm just not going to do it.
So you're going to acknowledge that, but not actually going to...
No, okay, I'm too dumb to be able to make a smart enough
Right.
Radiant's top tower.
Okay, so still one more bounty over here. Looks like Fnatic going to grab 3. Jab's just playing, you know, pretty deep in here, looking for a couple of couriers. Looks like he is going to be able to snipe Clockworks quickly. They do not want to come and play here at all. He's still level 1 on this Snapfire, so Jabs is definitely going to need some time in a lane at some point to catch up a little bit, but for now seems content to just really let his Lone Druid get all of the experience, really get off to a hot start.
Here comes Moon, top lane.
Yeah, this is the rotation that we were kind of looking for. Oh, the Wrath of Nature does huge damage. Do they have enough to finish this kill off? DJ running forward, really trying to get the Light Chains. Finally comes out, and it's going to be First Blood drawn by DJ. Man, Wrath of Nature is just an insane ability.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing as well. We saw it, we called it the entire time. Level 6, as soon as he gets it, the mid lane was actually pushed a fair way underneath his mid tower, but when you use that Wrath of Nature, you can just push it back a little bit while getting that same ganking, potential on the top side.
Okay, Jamesy feeling like he needs to make a rotation to answer. So he's going to pick up this haste and comes running top. Fnatic. He just goes straight under the tower, and that was the ulti popped by 23 Savage. Was not expecting the Quap to just go blinking in like that, but he gets annihilated. And all right, there you go. We're 1 for 1 on the mid lane ganks thus far.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a misplay from Fnatic, right? Like, look at the Observer Wards. Really telegraphed movement coming through there, but not being able to respond quickly enough.
Yeah, he was just kind of sitting directly under the tower. I wonder if he maybe needed to be over in the trees or something, but... what's happening at bottom? Ice almost has his Necrobook picked up. Jabs is coming down here. Has managed to snag level 3 off of the mid lane, it looks like, and a little bit of pressure onto Van, but he's got a Vanguard, so... I don't really know how much they're going to do to him here. The Wrath of Nature is coming through at some point, I believe. A little bit of damage. Trouble for Moon is going to get knocked out. James coming down now. As Moon just going to look for the TP out. Looks like he is going to be successful. Jab's in a little bit of danger, but might be able to pull off the same maneuver. There he's looking for him in the trees. Does spot him out. And with that little bit of vision, does seem like Jabs will be the one to take the fall.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a 3-man rotation just to be able to pick off position 5, but yeah, good movement as well to discourage Moon from getting a lot of extra pressure onto that tower. Now that you've got the Necrobook coming up in about 200 gold, I think we should expect to see some real tower taking potential come through from Fnatic.
And you can start to see the plan coming together for Fnatic, right? It's a very standard item build on the Lone Druid, but the Nature's Prophet is just rushing a mech. And we've also got this Necrobook coming together for the Treant Protector, so if they start winning a couple of these fights, they're going to have the sustain, they're going to have the pushing power. And the same really cannot be said for Cignal. So they're going to have to be very careful about their rotations, their split pushing, where they choose to park their Centaur, and making sure that they can hold on to these early buildings as long as possible.
Yeah, and we were talking about the differences between the different regions, SEA, Europe, China, wherever else. And, well, something that we've really been seeing is this early Urn of Shadows coming through from a lot more of these active heroes. You know, we've seen it with Puppey picking it up as a Weaver, and DJ's gone for it with the Ember Spirit this time around.
Yeah, if you can get it almost just as your first item, I think it feels so good, especially if you know that you're going to go Vessel, just to start getting those extra charges built up. Almost reminds me of when people used to kind of get it on Spectre. Side chains, here comes the Wrath of Nature. They're going to try again for this Centaur. Can they get him this time around? Seems to be going a little bit more successfully. Here comes the auto attacks from Moon, and that will be a quick kill into the immediate tower pressure. And you kind of have to ask yourself, what were Cignal doing on the map during this time? Jamesy's just farming up a little bit in the jungle. The Lifestealer also just kind of farming in lane. And Clockwork only level 4, really, so not a whole lot that he's able to contribute. And the tower just getting melted at bottom.
Yeah, level 4 only, and only a Tranquil Boots as well. Meanwhile, with that kill, Moon's got his mechanism coming out to him, opting for an armlet as well on a butt. So realizing the need to take a lot of this early aggression and try and push it back into Fnatic, but man, it's going to be rough with a lot of that sustain, some of that BKB and rage piercing with Ice Ice Ice. So we'll see how it goes for him, but it's not looking great.
Jabs. Alright. Hops over into the trees here. Doesn't want to TP out. I think wants to soak a little more experience if he can. Bounty rune's coming up.
They found him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He's on the run. Cookie's still on cooldown for 5. That tree is not cut down, so he's going to have to go to the south. Jab's looking for the slowdown onto Reese, but Stampede comes through, and that is going to be another kill. They're going to just park Ice 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 up here to try and hold on to the Tier 1 tower a little bit longer. Over at mid, 23 Savage taking some
this
damage.
Would be a huge kill.
Jamesy, the auto attacks with the double damage. Once again, the ulti just not doing nearly enough. I don't even think it did anything for him there. It was still mid-transformation when he got brought down.
Oh, okay, that's the exact thing that you have to do, right?
Yep.
You've got a lot of these aggressive heroes. Basically, LD was the only one not ready
Trouble
to
for
move.
Jamesy. It's just the 2 supports at mid, but can they kill him? The Wrath of Nature finishes him off. Not respecting the chains into the cookie enough. And now Fnatic looking for this mid-tier 1 tower, or at least a little bit of damage on it. Ice 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 able to keep on holding on to this top tier 1 for a very long time, even dragging the creep wave over into the neutrals. He's being such a nuisance up here.
Name a more iconic duo, Ice 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 and being a nuisance.
Yep, Grims almost gets brought down here at mid, but is going to end up surviving. That's the Mortimer's Kisses launching. Van running over looking for DJ. Does have a couple of remnants. Doesn't have one out currently, though. So needs to split off to the side. Buying a bit more time, buying a bit more time. Jamesy waiting for him, though. Finds the intercept. Ice Ice Ice, can he escape? Just going to go for the TP. Unfortunately, no hook shot just yet on Eris.
Yeah, unlucky as well with a battery assault ending a couple of seconds too early for him to be able to make that rotation through. So an alright defense coming through from Cignal there, but he just feels so concerned about, again, this aggression coming through Moon. He's opting to go into an Orchid, so trying to catch out this Queen of Pain, who is also going for the same style of items. So positioning and vision is going to be even more important than usual in this game.
But yeah, it has to be said, Cignal, you know, holding on pretty well so far, about coming under some pressure at bottom. Doesn't even have a point in the Infest just yet. Is opting to max out the Feast and the Rage as much as he possibly can.
Yeah. And it has to be said as well, the fact that they've been able to take these pretty decent trades on Cignal despite not having the hookshot or the Will-O-Wisp on their supports is pretty influential. Nearly about to get it on Grims, but he's going to be caught out by SSIs perhaps, but man, that's speedy, keeper of the line.
DJ just keeps running at this Lifestealer. The Wrath of Nature, they now have enough mana on Moon. So, bot needs to be a little bit careful here.
You don't think we would see like an armlet toggle gone awry?
Yeah, I hope not, but you know, it could happen. Necrobook getting chased here by Jamesy. It's going to clean that up for some nice gold. And Fnatic just starting to take over the Radiant jungle. Because they don't have to give away their top tier 1. They're just continuing to either TP the Terrain Protector or the Nature's Prophet up here to hold. And this was always kind of the concern against this lineup, that you're going to give away all your tier 1s and not take any of your own.
But with an interesting rotation through, you've got both cores down here. He does have the Infest available, but
Are fortified.
I suppose with the Fortify, he's feeling relatively safe. He's got his team backing him up, but there's also Fnatic sitting right here.
Yeah, DJ just waiting on the back lines, putting some damage onto the creeps. Grim's coming in. They do have the Will-O-Wisp available. Clockwork finally has the hook shot as well. They jump forward. They're looking for the pop immediately onto the Lone Druid. But this time around, he managed to get the ult off. They've also got the mech helping to keep him alive a little bit longer. Jabs laying down the fire. A bot and Van just running straight through it. Double kill for Jabs. 2 for 1 thus far in this fight. Ice getting caught out a little bit by the Clockwork, but that's already the Clock's full combo. He doesn't have any more damage, and now he makes it back to his team, caught up by the chains, brought down. And Fnatic, even though they lose the Lone Druid, definitely winning that team fight in the end.
Yeah, didn't even have to use the Overgrowth that time, and Ice was in a pretty good position to be able to pop it off. The Will-O-Wisp only hitting onto the Bear, so, you know, it's good that you're able to sustain 23 Savage from getting out of control in this game, but the remainder of the team are doing just as good a job.
Yeah, they really needed, like, the Will-O-Wisp or the Clockwork to somehow interrupt the Mortimer's Kisses. But I think as soon as Jab saw that the hook shot was on the Train Protector, he was just like, that's it, I'm going for it. Moon trying for a TP out up top here, and is going to make it. Locking down
the hook
Clockwork.
shot was half a second off cooldown.
Yeah, I clicked on him just as that started. It was like 5 seconds to go. And DJ just running around everywhere, behind waves, constantly putting pressure, poking and prodding. This is going to be a 2-2 bounty split. But Cignal still not making it onto the dire side of the map to be able to push any kind of objectives. At least they've got the #1 net worth on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be said, James has been doing a really good job here. He's got his completed Orchid now, so you can see that all of the aggression, all of the pressure is now on Signal's side. Van, he's going to take the front lines. He's got his Vanguard completed. Perhaps a Crimson Guard flying out to him as well? No, just the stick.
Oh. Ice, up to his old tricks.
Radiant's bottom
Gonna
tower
keep
is
on
under attack.
trying to hold on to this top tier 1 tower, sending the Necrobook out to defend, spamming the Living Armor, and unless they can somehow find him, I don't really think they're going to be able to do anything. Moon pressuring on the opposite side. Van with the blink forward, but a little bit off the mark with the hoof stomp, so Moon just walks it off, and Cignal with a pretty big rotation down here to defend this tier 2 tower. Jab just scouting things a little.
I mean, you just see the difference in those sorts of rotations, right? Oh, bit of action happening here, caught out with the Searing Chains combo, but like you had 4 heroes go top, right? And they want to obviously take that. They're feeling confident, but there was the Sonic Wave on 15 seconds cooldown, I believe, so not feeling confident enough to be able to take that team fight.
Oh, Kisses.
A
bot. Alright, I mean, he's still got Rage, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. Rage comes out. It's going to be just fine. Up top, they're looking for Ice. They have managed to hit him with the Dust. Still a pretty tanky boy, and does actually manage to make it out of the cogs quickly. Got the Necrobook off cooldown. Jamesy committing everything. Can he deny himself with the Necrobook? Alright, not going to go for it. So let's just get screamed down in the end. Over at mid, they've managed to catch out Grims a little bit. Does get the knockback. DJ looking to finish him off with the Slight, but
he lived.
Yeah, he's good. And now Centaur trying to keep them here. He does have the Stampede available, but team may be a little bit far away. Hookshot on cooldown, but they are just going to rush in the Clockwork. Trouble for Moon. He does still have the mech. DJ and Jabs waiting up on the high ground, but no Mortimer's Kisses, so no real threat damage-wise. 23 Savage going to come over, but it's just to use the Roar. And that does mean 2 big cores dying on the side of Fnatic in the last couple of minutes. And finally, a bot is going to say, all right, finally I get this tier 1 tower in the off lane. Oh, they're going on the Centaur here.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
I think they're okay with it. They realize the need for having to push out that bottom lane a little bit, and sure, he ends up going down for it, but just having that tier 1 tower gone is incredibly influential for Cignal right now. They're holding on and doing a pretty good job. They haven't gone anything uber late game here with the lineup on Fnatic's side, right? It's a lot of this early pressure. I mean, Lone Druid's always going to be a big threat as it gets later on, but you know, with these things like the Orchid, things like the Mechanism, they are stuff that drop off a little bit. So Moon could be in for a little bit of a concern.
Is this the world that we live in now for Lone Druid item builds? I mean, up until he grabbed that Quarterstaff, which is eventually going into the MKB, he just had 5 branches on the hero.
I was about to ask you about it, but there was just
Yeah, I
been
don't
so
know.
much action going on throughout. I was like, what item do you think he's holding right now? Or what items? But yeah, just want to go for the most cost efficient, I suppose.
Oh, Grimm's trying to get some wards down here, but it's going to get caught out. Very quickly dealt with.
And it's such a rarity, right, where they do get the chance to move on to the Dire side of the map. We saw previously all of this Dire vision placed down on the Radiant jungle. It's expired by now, so they're having to back off a little bit. Overgrowth is going to catch him out.
There's no way out for him at this point. Silence, Jab's running up, gets his little bit of damage in as well, and it will be DJ grabbing the kill in the end. You can see that Cignal are telling themselves, they're like, alright, the play that we're supposed to be able to make here is to try and invade the Dire jungle, right? And get some, we get some wards down, we can kind of shove that out. That's how we're going to buy some time. The problem is that you're playing against a lineup that can hold you out of their jungle with relatively little commitment, right? It's either just the Train Protector sitting up here, or the Nature's Prophet TPs for a little bit. They've got a lot of ways to just manipulate and control the lanes constantly.
Yeah, and now they've taken that 2-1. Oh, they've actually found out someone here.
Yeah, Savage in a little bit of trouble, but he's quite tanky, gets pushed up onto the high ground, and now the Bear just gonna go for Jamesy. He's been silenced up, no way out of that one. Reese also looking pretty dead. The Cookie, straightforward from Jabs, 2 quick kills, and Cignal just never quite all together, it feels like. They're always getting split up by the constant lane pressure, and Fnatic always punishing them for that. I'm really questioning this Lifestealer pick as well. Like, you know, it was the last pick of the entire draft, and it just doesn't... I don't know if it's looked quite good enough to justify it being, you know, last.
They're trying to make something happen. 3v5 here as they're going for the Roshan, but again, Ice is locked out a little bit with the Ironwood tree, but...
Oh,
no.
Van, he's got the Lifestealer inside of him. He immediately gets feared up. Trouble for the Centaur, one more hit, and he's going to be brought down. Ice looking to finish it off. Grims is going to drop down the Willows to try and continue the fight, but Abbat just going to get right-clicked, I think. As we do have a quick pause. He's actually... Oh my god, he's actually disconnected from the game. Well, I was just complaining before about SEA pubs having tons of pauses. Well, that's SEA Pro games for you as well.
And, like... You might think that this is good for Cignal because you've got the Queen of Pain coming through. You can actually say, right, we can make something happen. We've got this Will-O-Wisp, but man, again, the vision game coming through from Fnatic is great. Look at this unconventional place of this Observer Ward, so they've got complete understanding that Jamesy is making this rotation through. Yeah,
and there's no Sonic Wave available either, so I really just don't think that they have the damage here. Like, Moon's still got mech, Ice is full HP, his Blade Mail's cooling down. Maybe
and he's got Overgrowth.
Yeah. And maybe they could find some kind of a jump and kill on the lone druid. They do see him. So maybe Clockwork can somehow thread the needle here, but even then, I don't know if that's going to work.
So, if you were in Fnatic's shoes right now, or even in a pub,
yeah,
and it's 20.5 minutes,
yeah,
you would be very happy if you were a position 5, and at 20.5 minutes, you've got an Ag Scepter completed, because that's what Jabs has flying out to him right now. It's next to the mid-tier 1 tower, and, I mean, what are we expecting here? Something like an Ember Spirit to get spat in, and then just have that immediate escape if he needs to?
I guess, or you just spit the Train Protector in, and then he overgrowths, and then you follow it up with the regular kisses, and, say farewell, enemy team. I don't really know what else you do at that point. Man,
it's an insane amount of farm.
It is. I would really love to look at the gold breakdown after the game. I think a lot of it is probably just coming from the fact that there's all these... He's got 37 last hits, and they've taken a bunch of towers. But he is also, what, 4-2-4? So, yeah, pretty decent scoreline.
All right, so predictions here. Grims dies, Abbat dies. They finish off Roshan.
Yeah, I think so. Because he can't even rage TP because they're still overgrowth, so... Grimm's dead the DJ. Abbat just going to keep on hitting Ice. Jamesy was trying to chase after Jabs, but he had the last little bit of a haste, and now he's got the gobble up ready to go. Trouble for... And is he just shooting a creep over at him? He's looking for the kill at Jamesy. It's not quite a long enough stun. He's still hunting for him with the Mortimer's Kisses.
Oh, well, man, they're toying with him, Kip.
Yeah, well, Abbat's not quite dead. And now, actually, Jamesy going to go back in. Looks like he will be able to finish off jabs. Ice, caught out somewhat, but Nature's Prophet goes looking for Jamesy. Abbat in the middle of everybody. They're pump faking the overgrowth. Do they even really need it? Abbat with the armlet toggles. Well, trying to armlet toggle, but DJ finishes him off with the sleight of fist. And Fnatic just rolling from strength to strength here. Probably go and finish up the Roshan before too long if that's what they want to do.
You could tell James was a little bit salty with what that Snapfire tried to do with how aggressive he got onto him.
It was like, all right, nice try, buddy. I'll show you who's the real core in this game. But the Queen of Pain already starting to fall off a little bit. It feels like as these Fnatic heroes just get tankier.
They've spotted him out again. DJ's here. Prophet's got TP.
Yeah. Oh, and they've got the clumsy net as well, so that secures the TP in for the silence. Van trying to help out, but I think he's also just in a little bit of danger. Oh, the spit out, but Grims manages to dodge it. The DJ still closes the gap. They're going to finish off that kill. And now Centaur trapped in the middle of everything. If he can get his blink off, I think he might be able to blink TP. Probably living.
Doesn't even need the TP. Moon, he TPs to try and get him. He's like, oh, a bounty rune, nice.
Nice. All right. How long's that been here, guys? Man, he's got the Grove Bow as well. And the full BKB picked up now. So really nothing to fear whatsoever from a lot of these heroes on the side of Cignal. And this does feel to me a lot like a lot of the Centaur games that I've seen recently. Where the hero just takes, it takes a while to come online. And in general, you can just kind of ignore him. Like,
we've got a smoke coming through. They're trying to make something happen, but it's going to take Eris getting in there on the front lines. They make space for him.
Yeah, jump in. They only get the stomp onto the bear. Hookshot 4, but that's onto the train protector.
Nice
here comes the Will-O-Wisp, but they're all still so damn tanky. And here comes the overgrowth with the Mortimer's Kisses. That's one dead so far. They do get the Aegis over onto the Lone Druid. So Abbat not successful in his endeavor there to finish off the Roche. And then grab that for himself. Jamesy up on the high ground, gets Moon spat at him. And in the duration of that cookie stun, he's going to be brought down. They did manage to grab DJ in the end, but very small consolation prize as Fnatic. Just looking too strong at this point.
And they got the Roche kill as well on Cignal, but yeah, again, that's not really what matters at this stage.
Oh, Grims. Alright, he's got the Shadow Amulet. That's going to keep him alive here.
The Chappie special.
Top tower is under attack.
But, I mean, Ice is dragging waves top. Mid lane's getting pushed by 23 Savage. I'm just looking at this Lone Druid inventory.
Just, you know,
Yeah.
just LD things.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
How long until the bear is the hero and you summon the other guy? Because it just doesn't.
I mean, this is the thing that Cignal does all right, is that they've obviously got good high ground defense with the Keeper of the Light, having both the Illuminate and the Blinding Light. But when you get spat at like that...
Yeah, Grims is dead. And like you said, you can throw in DJ and he can just go for a kill and then immediately jump back out. The slow siege continues onto the tower. Ice going in to lay down a couple of punches. He's got the Necrobook off cooldown. Another slight chains. Flop and Abbat not very happy with their lot in life. Jump in attempted from the Centaur, but not really doing enough. 23 Savage does have the resummon available, I believe, and now on the front lines of Abbat, just getting locked down and punched. Surviving for a little bit longer inside of the creep. It's getting sent back towards the fountain. We do have a Sprout. Another nice slight chains from DJ. Abbat trying to fight, but here comes the Mortimer's Kisses. Jab's going to clean up this team fight, and Fnatic going to clean up this game. GG.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be said, really nice game from Jamesy, but that was basically it from Cignal's side, right?
Yeah.
Three heroes finishing with 0 kills, Van only the 1. It just felt like they didn't really have, like you were saying before, that overall game plan. It just felt like, what hero do you feel like playing? What counters their hero, as opposed to going into the draft with a real mindset, and Fnatic, again, just showing why they're one of the juggernauts.
Yeah, to me, it feels like you can't play without having one of these, like, almost free building taking heroes. I really don't think that you can. Well, it got especially exposed this game by Fnatic last picking the Dream Protector, right? But I just think it's so hard to play Dota at the moment if you're going to let the enemy team have Lone Druid and Nature's Prophet, and you're not going to have someone that like a DK or a Death Prophet or something that can guaranteed take you a tier 1 tower in the early game. Because otherwise, what we saw this game is going to happen to you every time. The enemy team's going to take all of your tier 1s, they're going to sit on your side of the map, and they're going to get like a 3 or 4k net worth lead just off of that because you don't have as much access as you would like. And with the way that Dota works currently, it's so hard to come back from even that small of a deficit. So.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how heavily Fnatic committed, right? They had 4 Observer Wards within the Radiant jungle. They choked off all of their farm that they could get. And, you know, as good of a hero as Clockwork is against some lineups, he doesn't do anything in terms of pushing out a lane. Sure, Keeper of the Light does, but you're very quickly able to be picked off, especially with something a bit more greedy like this Ember Spirit. He can even do a lot of that on his own.
Yeah, and it's not like the Keeper of the Light builds these days are really focusing on pushing out waves either, right? It's often just like 1 point in the Illuminate, and that's it. People are really pumping up the Chakra, and I think Grims was following Jamesy around a little bit and making sure that he was getting off these double screams and really accelerating his farm. But having a farmed Queen of Pain was not going to be enough to win you that one. And then also the Lifestealer pick just felt kind of safe and a little bit underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what's that good about Lifestealer this game, right? I mean, sure, the Bear and the Train Protector are both kind of tanky, but they're both also pretty good against Lifestealer in their own ways as well. So it's that was a little bit of a weird pick to me. But anyway, that's game 1 in the books. Kind of the expected result, if we're being honest. Fnatic definitely looking pretty good in this group stage and continuing to push themselves up the scoreboard, looking like they are likely to end up in that top 4.
Yeah, they're 9-2 now. And just before we go to that quick break, have a quick look at Jabs. He got 3.4k gold from hero kills, so obviously having a great job there.
Yeah, we wanted to look at the breakdown. Right? Oops, I've clicked on his profile instead. Yeah. So he had 2.3k from passive. It would be great if we could pick a specific time in the game to get that breakdown. But yeah, he got like 800 from buildings, and they got a decent amount from bounty runes. That also comes into this idea of it's so important to control the map because there are all of these repeated resources with the outposts, with the bounties. So if you can get an edge there, it's always going to be a big thing. But we're going to head to a break, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back for game 2 in a few minutes.